Guys, welcome to El Mejor Inglés, the show that is going to bring you a lot of exit in your life. The show that will bring you a lot of exit. Éxitos. Is that wrong? If that's ever happened to you, you have to know that real life doesn't have any cuts. Today's show is going to be about cognates. And hopefully you will never make the mistake that I just made again after this video. Now, cognates are two words in different languages that have the same or similar spelling, pronunciation, and meaning. If you think about languages like Chinese and English, there's actually very little correlation between them. There are not many words that are similar. But when you're talking about English and Spanish, there's actually a 30 to 40% vocabulary similarity between the two languages. So there are many words in English that actually look just like the words in Spanish, and they have the same meaning and pronunciation. Why are we making a show about cognates, you might say? Why is this the main topic of today? The fact is that cognates are things that you can use in order to boost and increase the acquisition of vocabulary in English very quickly. Using your Spanish base, you can very quickly start using these words in English by just looking at a list of cognates. But you have to be very careful because we have true cognates. These are cognates that are they are useful for you to know. And then we have false cognates, which are words that are not really cognates, but they look like them, but they actually mean something different. So you have to be very aware of what you're doing. Let me give you some examples, all right? First, you're going to see on screen some examples of true cognates. These are words that are similar in spelling, meaning, and pronunciation. And you can just use them in the other language. A word like, for example, family in English. You can see it on the screen, family. In Spanish, it's familia. It's spelled the same, you pronounce it almost the same, people will understand you even if they don't speak any Spanish, and you say, mi familia. They are going to understand mi familia because they'll think of family. Another word that is a cognate is center. The center of something, the center of the paper, the center of the camera view, and centro in Spanish. They are exactly the same. You also have radio in English, where you can listen to music, and radio in Spanish, which is exactly the same. So that's great. You can see also some other examples on the screen. It's great that we have such big similarities from one language to the other, 30 to 40%, that's a lot of words. But you have to be very careful that you don't use a cognate that is not really a cognate. And we call them false cognates. And now on screen, you can see some examples of false cognates. And you can see why people are gonna laugh if you use them like this because they don't mean the same at all. Let me read one of them. Globe. Un globo rojo. It's actually a red balloon, but you might say a red globe, which is not the same thing. A globe is like the world globe, something spherical. Another example is pie. Pie in Spanish. In English, it's not pie. It's spelled the same, but it's not the same word. In English, you have to say foot. Another word is ropa. In Spanish, ropa, mi ropa. In English, you cannot say rope because rope is what you use to tie something or to get someone out of a hole. You have to say clothes. These are my clothes. Now we're going to move on to our expression of the day. And today, it's actually one for the books. One for the books is our expression of the day. And one for the books means when something is really special, then what happens is that if there is a book to record things, then you put it in that book. If something really special happens, you put it in this record book and you tell people that it's something that is worth remembering. So if you do something great, like improve your English, then put it in the books, because it's one for the books. To summarize, today's video has taught you a valuable lesson. Cognates are something that are very useful. Words that are similar in English and in Spanish, the same spelling, same pronunciation, and same meaning. You can just poof, move them to English and start using them. but you have to be very careful because there are some that look just like cognates, but they are false. I want to thank, as usual, Progressive English, our sponsor. If you go to Progressive English, they actually know a lot about cognates. It's something that they teach also, so you won't be fooled. If you graduate from Progressive, you will know what cognates are. Si usted conoce a alguien que necesita del idioma inglés y que pueda aprender sobre los cognados, que es como se llaman en español, usted debe llamar a Progressive English Services al 809-732-5150 y ahí encontrará clases personalizadas que le enseñarán lo que usted necesita para mejorar el idioma inglés, o puede visitar la página a ps.com.do o visitar el enlace que está aquí en la descripción. Amigos, para que sepan, hemos hablado con Progressive English Services para ver qué podemos hacer por ustedes y conseguimos que Progressive English nos dé un 10% de descuento. Si ustedes mencionan que vieron el anuncio acá, les van a otorgar un 10% en la inscripción. Así que hagan eso por nosotros porque nosotros conseguimos ese descuento para ustedes. Guys, as usual, I want to thank you for being here, watching the video. There is a question and answer at the end of this video, so don't just exit yet. Wait until the end. But thank you as usual for sharing this video, which I know you're gonna do, liking this video, which I know you're gonna do, and for being here every Thursday and tuning in for the best tips that you can get in the market, in the world, for Spanish speakers. All right, have a nice day and see you guys later. Guys, so as promised, I have here in my hands 2 questions that we got through our comments, actually through the messages on Facebook from Carlos. And I'm going to read it. He says that he's seen that there's a lot of methodology and grammatical stuff in the things that you teach here in your channel, but I don't know. I don't think native people actually know all those rules since we Spanish speakers are not aware of them either. So, isn't there a more natural way to learn? That's a very good question, actually. A lot of people ask me, why do we teach grammar and why do we teach these things? The fact is that rules save time. If you give someone a rule that they can apply to everything, remember that you're learning the language. If they have a rule that they can apply to everything, this will actually save time in the end. Because learning it the natural way is going to take years. Thank you for writing. Remember that we're always here to answer your questions. Stay tuned for more.